everyone! In this video, I'll go over a few ways to transfer your embroidery pattern to fabric. For all of these methods, you'll need to know the size of your embroidery hoop. Most hoops are labeled by size, but they can vary slightly by brand. When making patterns, you want to know what the measurement of the inside of your hoop is. For example, for a 4-inch hoop, I want to make a design that is no bigger than 3 3/4 inches in diameter. As always, you want to double check that your fabric is big enough so that when it's hooped, at least 1 inch of fabric hangs out all the way around. The first method is tracing. Measure your hoop and print out a design to the appropriate measurement. If you're using one of my patterns, print the pattern that is labeled closest to your hoop size. If you're using your own patterns, follow these steps. Open up a word processor and drag in your pattern. Crop it right to the edge on all sides, making sure you're getting as close as possible without cutting into the design. Right-click and open up the Size and Position menu. Change the height to your desired pattern size. Since my hoop is 4 inches, I'm going to put 3.75. Now, when you click on the width box, it should automatically change. The width should be very close to the height. It's okay if it's not exactly the same. Since we're cropping by hand, it's difficult to get it perfect. Now you're ready to print your design and trace. This method works best with lighter fabrics. You can sometimes see right through the fabric and can trace directly on a table. If you're having a hard time, a good trick is to use a window or a light box if you have one. There are also ways to create your own light box. I'll link an easy tutorial below. Hold or tape your design up onto the window and place your fabric on top. If your fabric is light enough, you'll be able to see the design through it and trace easily. For tracing, I'm using a water-soluble embroidery pen, so this will disappear later with water. I'll link the pen I used in the description below, but there are also other options. You can also use chalk pencils or soapstone, which are made in various colors for different fabrics. Check out your local craft store for other options to find one you like. I haven't played around with pens that disappear with heat, but I've had a few friends who've recommended them. Remember, you always want to test everything on the fabric before you use it on something important. The next method is my favorite. It's using a wash-away stabilizer to print your design and stick it right onto the fabric. I use the product Sticky Fabri-solvy by the brand Sulky. I'll link it below. It comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets to fit into a printer. It has a sticky side and a fabric textured side. You'll want to print on the fabric side. Measure your design and print out onto the fabric paper. I like to print multiple patterns on each sheet so it doesn't get wasted, so that's why mine's already cut up. Cut the paper around the design, peel, and stick. Now you can stitch your design right through the fabric and the fabri-solvy. When you're done, follow the instructions on the package, running it under some warm water and agitating the stitches to loosen up the paper. I like to soak for even longer, sometimes up to a few hours, to make absolutely sure that all the paper dissolves. Then I rinse thoroughly and hang to dry. I've found that when I just rinse once and hang to dry, sometimes the ink spreads and leaves a shadowy mark. I've been able to get those stains out with a stain spray, but it's still better if you soak longer just to avoid those issues altogether. The last method is heat transfer. You use an iron for this one, and it's permanent, so keep that in mind. For this method, we want to flip the image first, like we're looking in a mirror. Then you can put it into Microsoft Word and crop it up to the edges like we did with the other two methods. Adjust the size and print. For this method, you'll need a special tracing paper and pencil. Keep in mind that the color of the fabric will play a role in how effective this is. I'll link the products that I use below, but there are other brands that make similar things. Trace the design onto the tracing paper with the special pencil. Dark, even lines show up best. Follow the product instructions to iron the pattern onto the fabric. These marks are permanent, so you'll want to cover them completely with the embroidery. The product I used told me to pin down the fabric and iron it with no steam on a cotton setting. Because the work was pinned in place, I could easily peel up to check without disturbing the design, and I realized I needed to iron a little bit more. Now it's ready to go in your hoop and stitch. As promised, I'll put links to all the products I used down below. If you need help stitching or closing the back of your hoop, check out my channel. If you're looking for a pattern to embroider, head to my Etsy shop where I sell fun, hand-drawn embroidery patterns. Each pattern comes with easy-to-follow instructions and a companion video. Thanks for watching and have fun with your project.